Hi, I'm Pat and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about my second year of ownership with this BMW i8. If you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications, as I like posting cool car content like this. And be sure to give this video a big thumbs up because it really helps. Today I'm going to talk about the second year of ownership, and if you've missed my first year of ownership video, there's a link in the description below. So back in February 2019 I bought this car, and then I released a video in February 2020 that talked about my first year of ownership experience and what I went through. Since then, now it's February 2021, and I want to update you on exactly what I've done with this car and some of the issues that it's given me in the past year. The last time I created a video, this car had 28,000 miles on it. Today, it has 35,000 miles on it. So I've driven 7,000 miles in the past year. And what have I done to the car in that time? Well, I did 2 oil and filter changes, and both of those were free, by the way, because I use FCP Euro. Again, if you haven't heard of FCP Euro, you could get your oil and your filter for practically any Euro car. You buy it the first time, and then when you change your oil the second time, third time, fourth time, forever, every time you send that old oil and filter back, they reimburse you the cost. I'm not kidding. And if you use PayPal, PayPal has 100% guaranteed return shipping. So that means you don't even have to pay for the shipping when you return your oil and filter back if you use PayPal. So there'll be a link in the description to FCP Euro, as well as the PayPal policy that you can use in order to get your free return shipping. So these 2 oil changes and filter changes that I did on the i8, completely free. But I also did a brake flush, and I have a video for that. I did change out the air filter. I did a transmission fluid change, which isn't something that's in the service manual, but I decided to give it a try myself just to see how that process would be. And I sent my oil off to Blackstone for analysis. It came back A-OK, as well as my oil changes that I've done in the past year. They're A-OK. So everything looks really good as far as oil analysis is concerned. But I did run into one problem, and the front axle on this car had a pinhole leak in the CV joint. I believe it was on the driver's side. I did a video on that because I did a vehicle check, which is what BMW wants you to do. They want you to bring it in, of course, when a notification pops up on the iDrive to have your vehicle brought in for a check. And of course, I decided to do it myself, and I actually found a problem. My CPO warranty covered that repair completely. No issues. While I was there, I also had them check out the air conditioning compressor because I thought it was noisy. Well, it's been operating just perfectly fine. So it's very possible that the noise that I've been hearing is perfect, and there haven't been any issues with my air conditioning compressor. So I'm not really worried about it right now. The other thing that I did this year is I purchased the 2-year extended CPO Wrap, since this was a CPO car, to extend my CPO warranty for another 2 years, and that reduces any risk that I have with very expensive systems that may need to be replaced in the car. I haven't had to use it yet, but it's good insurance. So my second year of ownership has practically been problem-free. Now, I have done a lot of videos in this amount of time that talked about some of the fixes and enhancements that could be done to the BMW i8, and of course all those are in the link in the description below. But I do want to talk about valuation. You see, when I released my first year video, I had said that I paid $78,000 for this car, and now it was worth about $65,000, which was a big depreciation hit. In all honesty, I probably would have been better off buying a 2014 car because the 2015s were still depreciating at the time. So here we are, I'm in 2021. This is a 2015 with 35,000 miles on it. And when I look at other listings online, the retail prices are also showing $65,000. So for the past year, my car hasn't gone up or down in value at all. And those 7,000 miles that I put on the car, I've been putting on for free. So while my first year video talked about $1 per mile depreciation, I'm seeing 0 per mile depreciation on my second year of ownership, which is actually pretty good. Now, why do you think that the value of this car has pretty much stayed flat over the past year? Well, COVID has a lot to do with that. When auto manufacturers stopped selling new cars, demand for used cars went up, and retail prices as well as wholesale prices went up on cars like this. So the value went up, probably more than it should have. I think this is probably more of a $60,000 to $55,000 vehicle, but right now it's showing that the price of this car would probably be $65,000 if it was being sold at a BMW dealer. So what am I trying to accomplish with this video besides telling you I really haven't experienced that many problems with the car? Besides that and the value and the decision to purchase the CPO warranty, this has been a pretty great year to have a BMW i8. In fact, there have been a lot of times where I had considered selling this car because I was worried that something bad was going to happen. But when I purchased the CPO Wrap and I extended my warranty, I felt more secure owning the car. And I think it was a decent investment, in my opinion, to have that because it's insurance. It prevents me from having to take the hit when there's a significant repair on the car. Now, other people with BMW i8s have reached out to me and said, Pat, I've had this problem. It's going to cost this much to fix the car. You know, maybe I should sell my car. And I tell folks, if you can afford to repair the car, that's okay. But if you can't afford to repair it, get yourself a warranty. If you can get the BMW warranty, whether normal service contract or the CPO, you're going to be able to avoid a lot of risk. And I released a video on that. Actually, I released a lot of videos in the past year. But for folks that don't have the opportunity to buy a BMW warranty, there are other companies out there, and you got to do your research, you got to read the contracts, and you got to make sure that you're following exactly what you should be doing so they completely cover your car. Some aftermarket warranties won't cover your car if you put aftermarket tires on it. Say you got to stick with OEM. Same with the wheels, lowering kits, modifications, things like that they can use to deny your warranty claim. So if you do get an extended warranty for this car, read the contract. Make sure that everything is being completed exactly as they specify in that contract so they don't deny your claim. Now, some aftermarket warranties will not cover the full price of labor that BMW dealerships will charge, which means that you got to take it to an independent dealer, and some independent dealers won't cover the car. So you end up having to pay a portion of the repair yourself. So it's always best, in my opinion, if you're going to get the i8, make sure you have a BMW warranty because it provides the best protection from having to spend money. So what else do I have to talk about in this video? I want to take this time to go over some of the more important videos that I've released over the past year so that you can better understand what you're getting into with a BMW i8. A lot of folks have said, Pat, there's so many videos out there, I can't keep up with them all. There are certain ones that I need to watch, especially if I'm looking to buy a BMW i8. And of course, that's why I released the video, buying a used BMW i8, what I look for before buying. So that video really goes into depth about some of the different parts of the car that you need to look at when you're doing your walk around. But I still recommend that you get a pre-purchase inspection. Now, how does a pre-purchase inspection work? Well, that's where you tell the dealer or the seller that you want to have a mechanic go over the car. And you want to make sure that this mechanic actually is familiar with the i8 because it is a unique platform. If they're not familiar with the i8, they can give you a basic rundown of some of the damage or concerns that they've noted, but it would be better to go to a mechanic that has BMW i8 experience. So over the past year, a couple things that I've done. I had a paint chip that I corrected on the hood. That's perfectly fine. I modified my exhaust by removing the fuse so it leaves the flap open. And I also used BimmerLink because BimmerLink, that app, you could use to open the flap and then remove the fuse. So you don't have to drive the car and then pull the fuse. That's a new one. I may do a video on that. I then talked about the battery and what you should do when you store your BMW i8 for a long period of time. Either leave it plugged in, or you could disconnect the charger and leave it sick for about 6 weeks and plug it in and top it off again. I talked about how to do the brake fluid change, And that was actually a fairly easy process. There was a paint correction done to the car, and I showed not only how to do the paint correction, but also how to do the ceramic coating. I installed a Valvomax so that I could easily drain the oil on the BMW i8 without having to take the plug out and get oil everywhere. And then I took it to the dyno. I wanted to see what the i8 would do in the dyno. And those initial results of 340 horsepower and 421 pounds-feet of torque at the wheels, well, I was pretty impressed. So we did a custom tune on it, and then eventually we installed the Yorkshire DPF Center tune from Alex, and that has been on my car ever since I installed it. And it's been working great. I'm actually using the Stage 1 tune, and I'm completely happy with it. So there's a link in the description if you're interested in getting that tune for your BMW i8. I then did some 0 to 60 runs to see how the car would perform, and was able to see this car run under 4 seconds, 0 to 60, using my Draggy. So that's a cool video to watch. And I think the Draggy is a very great tool in order to test your own performance. There'll be a link in the description below for that as well. I then modified the intake on the BMW i8. I blocked off all those holes inside the muffler that's attached to the intake side of the car so that I could hear those turbo noises. And I'm very happy with that. I don't want to change that. I then spent some time talking about extended warranties, and I also talked about some of the issues that you may have with the air conditioning system and the coolant system. Well, that coolant video came in handy because that's how Sam Crack found me, and he reached out to me when he was having BMW i8 issues with his auction find car. So it's great to interface with Sam. I've been a fan of his for several years, and being able to work with him on his i8 fix and also do a few videos in response to his video, that was a whole lot of fun. Link in the description for those. Another thing that I did was figure out a way to cover the shocks on this car with coilover covers because the shock boots wore out. And that's been working great. I gave it a quick look with my flashlight just to see if there were any issues with those covers. I don't see any problems at all. Eventually I'm going to get this car off the ground when I do another oil change, and I'll go ahead and pull some wheels and take a look and see exactly how they are holding up. I'll be sure to release a video on that as well. I then looked into ways to help prevent the wire loom from breaking. That wire loom that connects between the vehicle and the doors. And a few people got back to me after that video and said I had the same problem, and I worked on a fix after it actually broke. So they provided some pictures, and I think I'm going to release a video on that soon as well. I then took the BMW i8 out in the snow and gave a great review on the Continental DWS06 tires while I was using the different modes, e-drive and comfort mode and sport mode, to see how the car held up with traction. And soon after that I bought the Acura NSX. Now the BMW i8 is still in the garage and it's going to stay here, at least for now. I'd like to continue to produce content with the car. I want to make sure that I continue to provide the community with information that I receive from owners. Owners have gotten back to me with a few issues that they've encountered with the car, and it means that I want to follow up with my community to let them know just what may happen if they own a BMW i8, or things to look out for, or things that they should do when they're driving the car and they experience some symptoms, so it doesn't cost them more money. Yes, in the past year, I've done a lot with this car. It's been a lot of fun to actually take it out on the road. I took it to lots of cars and coffee events and a few rallies as well. People really enjoy the car, and it's a pleasure to drive it. It generates a lot of attention everywhere I go, and it's truly been a great daily driver car. If you enjoyed today's video, please give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please click on the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications, as I'll be posting more cool car content. Thanks for watching, and happy motoring.